Well, friends, now let us learn the very basic things about financial management. As we are talking about, every subject has got some objective. Like just now we are talking, we need to learn accounting. Accounting we learn so that we'll be able to prepare financial statement. We'll be able to maintain books and cost accounting. Similarly, we learn that so that we'll be able to ascertain cost and we'll be able to control cost and we'll be able to reduce our cost by knowing the subject. And there is one more topic like business, like management accounting, which helps us in taking business decision. Similarly, we need to know what are the things that is dealt in the subject transaction. Now, if you see this topic as we are discussing now is about managing money. And when you say it is a managing money, that means three things are involved here. As you can see, one is collecting, second is using, third one is returning. That is the main things we. Okay. So any business you think of or any project you think of, when you start a project, suppose as a student you taken a decision to join the course of company secretary. Let us take there is a project. So when you decided the project, of course, it's a very risky project. Even once upon a time, you have taken the decision that I'll be taking up this project. You are fully aware that what is the risk involved, and at the same time, you are also aware what is the return you are expecting. And keeping in mind the return, you have decided to take up that risk. Is it not? You know, risk is high, but you also know return is high. And keeping both the things in mind, you have taken a decision. You have definitely done a kind of trade-off between risk and return. And on that basis, you have decided this is a feasible and acceptable project. So let me go ahead. So when you started this particular project at that time, in order to implement the project, first thing what is required is to you have to take admission. For that, what is needed is money. The moment money is paid, you can say activity started. Before that, all that you have done, you have taken decision. But activity-wise, if you think, that first thing is that you have paid money. And to pay money, first of all, what you need before that? You need to arrange money. The process of arranging money is collection. That means I'm collecting money. That is also decision. At that time, you might have to take decision like where from I will arrange. Should I ask my father? Should I ask my mother? Or should I use my pocket money? Whether the bank money, some money is lying in my bank account, whether that will be used. So that is the decision you have taken. That is the decision you have taken. At that time, you thought this is how money can be arranged. So once you are confident that I have this money, okay, and this money is sufficient to invest in that project, and you know this money also should be used in a very meaningful way. Meaningful way means you should get more benefit than the cost of money. Okay, that's why you invested that money in a project called company secretary course. Is it not? When you invested the money, that is your investment decision. Why didn't you invest in some other course? Because at that time you must have evaluated this is course A, this is course B, this is course C, and out of this is the best course. And if I invest this money in this particular project, in this particular course, I will be able to maximize my return. And by maximizing return, you'll be able to maximize your own value. That means the value, your value as of now, will be definitely going to be enhanced. The moment you complete your course. Okay, that is what you are keeping in the mind that your value will be maximized. Value, not only value in terms of money. Okay, that is one thing. But in addition to that, your image will also be improved. So all these things you are expecting your mind, that is the concept of value maximization. Okay, so as you keep on progressing, that means let us say you cleared group one, cleared let's say another group, another group. As you keep on progressing like this, you must be finding, you must be observing that your value is improved. See, the moment you feel value is improving, it gives you a satisfaction that the money you are spending in this project is worth. Okay, so in this process itself, you have already taken a decision which is called as financing decision. You have decided where from to arrange money, and at the same time, you have also taken a decision which is called as investment decision. Are you agreeing with it? Okay, those who are agreeing can give me a thumbs up. in the reaction button. Can you give it? Yeah. Now, friends, so these are the tools. But now you see, while taking the decision, many things are in. For example, when you are taking a decision to invest in a particular project, you are using various techniques to evaluate it. Similarly, in the company, a particular manager, let us say finance manager, take a decision where to invest this money. Let us say here is project A, here is project B, here is project C. Where to make investment? Because he has to give justification for his investment. He has to explain that this is the money I am investing and this is the return I am expecting, and you see, return is there, risk is also there. So keeping in mind the return involved, it is worth taking the risk. Okay. And he used various methods to evaluate projects. When learning the topic financial management, this decision, investment decision, we use the techniques like, let us say, internal rate of return, net present value, payback period, all these are the methods to take decisions. Decisions means investment decisions. Okay. At the same time, when collection money comes, when you're deciding to collection money, which is a financing decision, where from money will be, right? So let us say here for your project, you might be getting money from your father. Is it done? When you are collecting money from your father. Okay. Same way, let us say you think of a company or think of a finance manager. He might have to collect money from the project, maybe from the owners of the organization, or maybe the outsiders. When he's collecting from the owners, we call it as the equity. And he's collecting from outsiders, that is of course debt. And friends, here one more concept you have to keep in mind, that nothing in the world is available free of cost. So when someone is giving you money, it has got a cost. Without cost, you won't get anything. You have to pay everything. Don't think that this is a project for which your father has given you money. It is free of cost. No, it has got a cost. Okay. Why it is a cost? Because your father is like a equity shareholder. Okay. He is giving you money and he is not expecting you to return. Just like an equity shareholder, when he invests money, he doesn't want that you should pay back money. He is not a debt holder. Therefore, as a finance manager, you have to understand that what he wants. Suppose an equity shareholder, he doesn't want money back. What he wants the value of his share should be maximized. There should be growth in the value of shares. Exactly in the similar, that expectation you should understand. As a finance manager, if I understand that this is my equity shareholder, his expectation is share value should be maximized. So if I am unable to do that, then I'm not an efficient finance manager. So I have to keep in mind what is the expectation of my investors, and that has to be achieved. The expectation of the investor is the cost for me. Suppose I am the finance manager, that is my cost. For example, let us say I have taken a loan from the bank, but bank is expecting 15% return. That 15% is my cost. But I have taken equity from my shareholder. Shareholder is expecting my equity price should be doubled. That is my cost. I should be able to double it. If I'm unable to do it, then I'm unable to meet the expectation of my investor. Next day, my investor will move out because I'm unable to satisfy. Similarly, when you are collecting money from your parents, if you are able to know what is their expectation, that is cost for you. Okay. If your parents are expecting that you should become company secretary, if you are able to become that, then you are able to pay back your cost. Otherwise, you are unable to pay your cost. That is poor finance management, will say. Right. So parents are like equity shareholders. But if you take an education loan, that's a debt holder. Okay. He's not expecting value addition. He's expecting that you should repay the principal and repay the interest. So now you have understood, to show efficiency in the financial management, you also need to know what is the cost of finance. So when coming to this financing decision, it's arranging of money, there are two things that are involved. One is we need to know what is cost of capital. And one more thing, also need to, what should be my capital structure? That means how much money I should use, I should bring from various sources. What should be my debt? What should be my equity? That I should know. Okay. So in financing decision, we have understood these are the things. I should know what is the cost of capital. I should also know what is the capital structure. On that basis, I'll be able to compute what is my average cost, what we technically call it as the weighted average cost of capital. Okay, if I know the cost, that means I know what is expected of me. So I should be able to meet that. And again, it is my responsibility to invest money in a suitable project which will be maximizing return. And with the help of that, I'll be able to maximize the value. So that is why we are learning these two things. Now you see, once you know the cost of capital, once you know these are the investment decisions, that means you are knowing how much money will be coming to you and how much money is to be paid back. Right? Now, how to pay? Now, it is again your decision that out of money that is coming, how much you are going to pay to the investors. The example we have taken, I had told you, let us say your parents are expecting something. You have to pay. Pay not only, not that in terms of money, but you have to meet their expectation. Suppose an equity shareholders is expecting that if the equity shareholders is going to be doubled. So you have to ensure it is going to be doubled. It's not necessary that you are paying him. It's not necessary that he is selling his shares. Not at all necessary. But you should show that you see value has been increased. I have taken, when you have purchased the share, the value was 200. Now you see I have made the value 400. And that is my financial management. Okay. And that payment process, what is expected, and if that is paid, that payment process is called as another kind of decision. You can call it the distribution decision or dividend decision. That means out of profit that I've earned, how much is going to be distributed? If my shareholders are expecting some distribution, I should pay it. Right? If I'm unable to pay, then my shareholders will be dissatisfied. So this process of distributing is called a dividend decision. There also I have to apply your mind, because if I distribute the entire thing, let us say I earned 100 rupees, I distributed 100 rupees. Okay, what will happen? In that situation, my business may not grow. For example, let us say every year you are earning 50,000 rupees, and you are also spending 50,000 rupees. Every month you are earning 50,000. Every month you are spending 50,000. Will you grow? Answer will be no. Okay, your inflow matches with your outflow. But let us say every month you are earning 50,000 rupees and you are spending 40,000 rupees. That means by the month end, your wealth will be growing to the extent of 10,000 rupees. Meaning you are going to become richer by 10,000 rupees. And if this process continues, then every year you will be becoming richer and richer by 10,000 rupees. So you will be become wealthy and wealthy. You will become much more wealthier. And that is what we call it, that you are adding value in yourself. Your value is getting added, and that's the ultimate objective of financial management. That is ensured, then our process is right. Decisions you're taking, that is right. Because ultimately we are able to maximize the value. Okay. And friends, while doing all these things, we have to also keep one thing in mind, that is called as how manage our day-to-day operation. For example, let us say you joined CS course and your father financial. Others has already financed. You have taken a brilliant decision of joining this course, joined it. But after joining, you will also definitely feel there is some other need. Like you might have to attend a coaching class for which you have to pay fee, you have to buy some book, there's some stationery, you have to pay money for exam fee. All this involves a cost to run the project. Okay, and that cost, what we call it, cost required for run the project, we call it as our working capital required. Okay, if working capital is not there, even if you have invested money, project may not run successfully. Initial investment is done, but working capital, if that is insufficient, you may not be able to operate fully. Okay, it will create some kind of bottleneck in the process. So at the same time, it is also your responsibility to ensure that working capital is also proper. Okay, so you have to look into financing aspect, into investment aspect, also the working capital things, how much money is required to in the day-to-day business. And this working capital may not be same always. That is one more thing. Meaning, sometimes you may be working capital means at any point of time you should have some money so that you'll be able to start pricing. And that need will vary. Someday you may need 1,000 rupees, some may you may need 20 rupees. Okay, suppose the exam day you need to have that, you should have 500 rupees in your pocket so that if required you can come by auto, come by taxi. Right. Other days you can manage 20 rupees, you can travel by bus. So that means when we run the business throughout the period, sometimes we need more working capital, sometimes we need less working capital. That we have to manage. For example, we are running a business, maybe in the first week of the month, you need more money because you have to pay salary. Okay, maybe on a particular day, you need more money because you have to pay advance tax. But in other days, you know it is smooth. How much money is required, you already. So that is one more management. Now, friends, when coming to money management, now you have understood these are the broad things that we are talking. It may be investment decision, financing decision, dividend decision. These are the broad things. Okay, and when you talk about working capital decision, this is not a separate independent decision. This is also a part of financing or investment decision. Broadly, these are the three decisions which are called investment decision, financing decisions, and what dividend decisions. Okay, so till now I was trying to create a background so that you'll be able to understand what is the entire scope of financial. Now, friends, I will be again sharing screen with you. Let us understand few more concepts of financial management. Yeah, as I told you. So now you have understood when we talk about financial management or the concept of managing money, it deals with collecting money, using money. Now, friends, issue here is that when you collect money, where from you will be collecting money? That is important. For your small project like this, say CS course, you can collect money. You know, you can ask your parents. But for an entity, for a business house, a company, if he needs money, he has to see what are the sources. Okay. Just like if you need something, but you have to anything you need to visit a market for. Suppose you want vegetable, you have to go to a vegetable market. You need to, let us say, you need jewelry, you have to go to jewelry market. You need furniture, you have to furniture market. Similarly, if you are looking for finance, then you have to go to financial market. Okay, you need to know, you need to visit the financial market, then only you can get finance. Okay, now this decision, that means financing decision, now involves knowledge of financial market. We need to learn what is financial market. Then only our decision will be efficient. Good decision. Suppose you do not know a market. Suppose you do not know where the vegetable market is, and you are going to buy some vegetable. There is a possibility that you may take a wrong decision. You may buy something by paying more price. Okay. Things that you buy, it may be more costly. So if you know what is the appropriate place, then you will be able to take a suitable decision. Therefore, you need to know where is that financial market. And not only market, you also need to know what are the products available in this market. Okay. Just like in vegetable market, you see various vegetables. In financial market, there are also various financial products. And when I say market always two things happens. That means you can buy something, you can sell something. in this financial market also, you can find out buyers and you can find out sellers. Okay. For example, if some having excess money, you can park that money in this market. You can invest that money. And if you are in need of some money, you can take money from that. Various kinds of financial products are available in the market. You may call it as the financial product or financial instruments. Okay. Even if various products are available, broadly we can classify them into categories. Just like, suppose there might be many items, you can classify them veg and non-veg. Similarly, even if there are many products available, we can classify them either as debt or as equity, depending upon their character, depending upon their behavior. Okay. Maybe debt or equity, or it might be hybrid product. That means some of its behavior is like a debt product, some of its behavior is like an equity. So various products are available. For example, if you need money, you can go for a term loan, you can go for a crash credit loan, you can go for equity share, you can go for a preference share. You see, these are options available. These are the products. But all the products will give you money. Your ultimate objective is to get some money. But money you can get through cash credit loan, you can get it through term loan, you can get it through equity, you can get it through preference, you can get to convertibles. Right? You can get it through working capital loan. So many options are there. Okay, you can get it through foreign investments. So many options are there. Then where from you will be getting money? So if you know the market, you know these are the products available which will give you. Now, issue here is that each product has got a different cost. Just like each vegetable has got different cost. Now each product has got different cost. So now you need to know what is the cost of this thing. And whether the project where you are going to invest this money will give you return more than that cost. Suppose cost is 18% and your project gives you 15% return. Is it worth taking that money? It is better not to start that business. So you have to keep in the mind what is the return expected from the project and what are the cost of all these items. You may also decide collect money through a combination of these instruments. In that case, you need to know what are the weighted average cost of. Okay, suppose you want 50% debt, 50%, but 10 lakh from debt, 10 lakh from equity. Okay, and equity cost is 20% and debt cost is, let us say, 10%. So your weighted average cost will be 15% average of this thing. So that also need to know. Now, why we are discussing this thing? Now this gives us an indication that to take this financing decision, I need to understand the financial market. I cannot take a financing decision without knowing financial market. Okay, because only when I know the market, I will be able to know what is the cost, and also I will be able to know what are the products available. And also I should know for how much a product I should visit which market. For example, if I ask you buy kilos of potato, you may go to a nearby shop. But the moment I'll be asking you that not 2 kilo potato, I want 500 kilo potato, then you may think no, not by nearby shop, you'll go to a distant market. Now, if you go there, your traveling cost, carrying cost, everything taken together, still potato will be cheaper. If you go to a different place, distant place. Now you know for this much of size, you have to go to this market. For a different size, you might have to go to a different. Meaning, for a loan of 20 lakh, you may visit the nearest bank. But a loan of 200 crore, you might have to visit a stock exchange. Both are market, both will give you money. So that is why there is a need to understand the financial market and there is a need to understand the products available. Okay. Now, this is the entire scope of financial management discussed. Again, I will be showing you this slide as you can see. Now, so far we have understood when we talk about financial management, it talks about managing money, that is collecting money, using money and returning money. And this money is collected from financial market, and this market, different securities, financial securities and instruments. Now, friends, having understood this, let us understand various steps that are involved in the business, how finance is related. You already know. So, start. In any business, you can visualize these four steps. They are very clearly visible steps in any kind of business. First, you start the business. We talk about stage one. In this stage, almost we decide where we are making investment. Just like before joining CS course, first thing you decided that you'll be joining compulsory. First, you decided okay, you might have collected various information. You decided this is what you're, or for any other project. Let us say you are going to buy a two-wheeler. You are first deciding, okay, you are comparing various two-wheelers, and you are finally concluding that this is the two-wheeler I'm buying. So deciding asset is the first stage. Then having decided, then you will be you will be definitely think that if I'm going for that asset, how much money is required? I call it as the determination of investment. So in a business also we do say decide what is the business and how much money is required to be invested. And next thing is that to run that project, how much of working capital will be required. Okay, suppose you know, join CS course, let us say you are spending $3,000. But to complete that course for meeting day-to-day cost, then you have to give some money for that thing also. That is called as determination of work. After that, we'll be deciding what is the source. Where from I will be arranging money. Where from I will be arranging money for asset. Where from I will be arranging money for what. So therefore, some businesses they take types of loans. One is term loan, another is working capital. Okay, so whatever may be source, it may be a debt or a combination of both. So these are the various stages that we follow for arranging finance for a business. Now, friends, let us see quickly what is the role of a finance manager and the activities that are carried out by a finance manager. If you look at this particular slide, if you see, this is the finance manager's position. Okay, and you already know that finance manager need to understand this place, which is called the financial market, because he'll be collecting money from this place. All debt holders, investors, everything, everybody is there. They are working in the financial market. And if the financial manager is having some excess money, he can also park that money in the financial market. And the process of financial market, this is one thing. And activities wise, if you think that in business activities, first starts with collection of. For that, you can take decision. But activity will be starting when you collect money from financial market. You see, financial market money is collected first of all. And at that time, finance manager realizes that if the money which is collected, which is kept in his pocket, let us say if it is kept idle, then there is a big problem. Suppose money 5 lakh rupees is collected and is with finance manager now. That's a big problem now. Because money has got a cost. Okay. And then the cost meter keeps on running. And if you keep money idle, all of you know the value of money will diminish. Concept of time value of money. Many of you might be. So when money arrives with the finance manager knows that if you keep that money in idle form, then you'll be losing the value. Value of money will diminish day by day. Therefore, what he does very promptly, he converts that money into some real assets. It may invest in some projects. Because money in idle form means you are losing money. Okay. If there is some money idle in your pocket, if it is excess more than your requirement, then definitely you are losing money. Because the same money, if you park in the bank account, at least you can earn some interest. But if it's with you lying like that for a long period, that means you are losing money. Okay, here we are losing money, nobody is asking us, but if a company loses money, business house loses money, then definitely one day board of directors will be asking that you see this much of money is lying idle, what finance manager was doing. They may ask an explanation to the finance manager. Please explain why this much of interest loss will not be recovered from your salary. So that is how finance manager is accountable this kind of process. So finance manager, knowing that, promptly converts that money into real assets, because the real assets gives return. If that money is converted into some assets, then assets will give us the return. And return means return will be coming to the finance manager. Right? Let us say you purchased a house, rent will be coming to the finance manager. A house appreciation the value of house, that is also an income. Okay, so money collected from financial market, money invested in real asset, the money coming back to finance manager. And at this stage, finance manager realizes that this money, what he has received as an income, part of money needs to be returned to the financial market, because these people has given us money with an expectation of some return. They expect that you have taken debt, means you will pay my EMI, which consists of principal as well as interest. If you have taken money in the form of equity, then you will be paying dividend. So this part of money which is collected needs to be paid to the market. But as we are discussing, if the entire money is distributed, then business will not grow. So here finance manager has to ensure two things. He has to ensure his own growth, and also he has to satisfy the investors. To satisfy the investor, he is paying a part of money return, and to ensure his own growth, he is retaining a part of money. The money which is paid is called as payout. The money which is retained is called as retention. So if 100 is earned, maybe 80 is paid out, and 20 is retention. Maybe 60 is paid out, is retention. So some money needs to be retained in the business, some money needs to be distributed, paid back to the financial market. Okay, this is how money flows. From the financial market, money flows. Okay, and in financial language, or the financial management language, called the first decision is called as financing decision, because here we are thinking where from money is to be collected. The second decision is called as investment decision. And the step 3 is in fact is not a decision, because we are not deciding, we are only getting return from the assets. There no decision is in. And the 4A and 4B is called as dividend. Now you have understood that when you're talking about financial management, it involves investment decision, financing decision, and dividends. Hope this concept is clear. Now, friends, what is investment decision? What is financing decision? What is dividend decision? These things are available in your study material. You may go through it. Text can go through it, but concept I think you have already understood. Right now, one more thing. Now we'll see how to understand the business with the help of our subject financial management. That is also important. Now, friends, just like you have a basic idea about you, I may ask, I may need to look at you, I may need to see you, how we look like. I may ask for a photograph. By looking at the photograph, I can form an impression. Okay, this person is like this. Okay, similarly, when we try to understand a business, we ask their financial statement. And with the help of that financial statement, compare what has happened, how the company is doing. Okay. that company's performance and company's position can be compared or can be assessed by referring to the financial statement. And what is that financial statement? If you look at any financial statement in company law, you'll be studying what is the components of the financial statement that's been defined in company law. But broadly at this stage, I'll give you some idea that financial statement includes balance sheet, statement of profit loss, cash flow statement, explanatory notes, and other things, statement of changes in equity like this. So, okay, these are the items which consist of financial statement. Most important financial statement. In the top sheet, when you look at the financial statement, the top you will find out the statement which is called as balance sheet. By looking at the balance sheet, as finance professional, we should be able to understand the business. We should be able to understand the position of the business, because balance sheet is in fact the photograph of the business, a still photograph. Just like your photograph is appearing in your home page, similarly that is the balance sheet, which will help us to understand. It gives form some opinion about an entity. And if you look at the balance sheet, most of you must have understood the process of preparation of balance sheet, how it is prepared. The financial transactions are recorded. Then financial statements like statement of profit and loss, etc. is prepared. Okay. As recorded, summarized, then profit and loss statement are prepared. Then the ultimate results of profit and loss statement is again brought to the balance sheet. So balance sheet shows the balance sheet, you can say the ultimate statement. Okay, which reflects the entire performance as well as position. Everything is reflected in the balance sheet. Hope you are agreeing with, right? And what is reflected in the balance sheet? The summary of all the financial transactions and positions. And what in accounting terms we call it as financial transaction. But if you talk from the manager's point of view, the transactions are in fact business decisions. Okay, suppose, let us say you are purchasing stationery, you may debit it to printing and stationery account, but that's a business decision. You failed to run the business, I need printing and stationery. Okay, I need to have some printing and stationery as my working capital. That's a working capital decision. If you are ordering a cup of tea, you may be debiting to staff welfare account, but this is a business decision that you thought one cup of tea is necessary to be offered to the client, then only I'll be getting more return. This is the investment, and that is the return we are expecting. So every accounting transaction involves a kind of financial decision. Now the decisions that we have learned so far, all these decisions, that means cumulative results of all the business decisions, are finally reflected in the balance sheet. Now, if you look at the balance sheet of an entity, let us say balance sheet of a company, you look at, it may look like this, but if you see this portion, first of all, you see this portion talks about, first part, it talks about equities and liabilities. Bottom portion talks about assets. Here you see shareholders fund, then liabilities part, non-current liability, current liabilities, etc. So this part referred to as my capital structure planning or capital structure decision, or a kind of financing decision. And this, you see, how much money is invested in non-current asset, this is the capital budgeting decision or investment. And how much of current liabilities, current assets I have to keep, that is a part of my working capital. Okay, and how much money is to be distributed, that also forms a part of, that is also reflected in my shareholders fund, that is also my dividends. So now you have seen when what we call at the balance sheet of an entity, that is in fact the summary of all the finance decisions, all the financial management decisions. Okay, so if you look at the balance sheet now, it is not only figures, this shows entire decision that is taken by the management. It reflects the decision taken from the beginning, from the inception of the company till now, till the date of balance sheet. Whatever decision has been taken, the ultimate results are reflected here. All these decisions are friends financial decisions. Maybe an investment decision, maybe financing decision, dividend decisions, but everything is reflected here. Okay. Now with this background, got a fair idea about the topic of financial management, and now I think stuff have been able to generate enough interest to learn the subject. The definition of financial management right now I am not covering. I have read it from a study material which is available with you. Various definitions are okay. You see, here is one definition. I can just tell you here is one more definition. Okay, here is few more definition. This is one more definition. So many definitions are there. All these definitions we are not discussing. Okay. But now, if you look at the picture, you can understand that these different definitions are talking about various different things. Okay. After learning all these definitions, also we may not be able to conclude what exactly the topic financial management means. Why it is so? Because here one more definition. Why it is so? Because the topic is not a static topic. Subject is not static. It keeps on changing from time to time. Topic is growing. Subjects are growing. Maybe few days, few years before, there was nothing called as derivatives. There is nothing called as, let us say, options or something like FDI. Or these kind of financial instruments may not be there in the financial market. Okay. And so many, let us say, exotic hybrids financial instruments which are available right now that may not be available earlier. So topic is changing. And various new theories are also coming up. To these theories, these techniques also helps us to take our investment decision, financing decisions, activities. Okay, so since the topic is continuously changing, topic is dynamic, this subject is vibrant, it's very difficult to define that topic. But more or less we have understood this is the topic which deals with managing money, and you have to manage money by taking this kind of decisions, and broadly you can classify them as investment decisions, decisions, activities. I will not go through the process of evolution, history of financial management. Now, but one more concept we understand that while taking, now we have understood the financial management's objective is to maximize value. I think all of we agree with this concept. Objective is to maximize value. Now, if that is the objective, this objective can be achieved, already you know that by taking various financial decisions, and these decisions can be classified as a financing decision, investment decisions, and decision. All these three decisions combined, taken together can be called as financial decision. All of them are financial decision. Inside financial decision, this is financing decision. Okay, there might be non-financial decisions also, but non-financial decisions are also linked to financial decision. That is one more thing. Okay. Now, next question comes: how the decisions are taken by finance manager? Every decision to take any kind of decision that's like this, finance manager must know what is first of all risk involved that decision, is the return associated with risk and he has to do a trade-off, meaning he has to balance between trade risk and return. He knows that if I'm taking high risk, then I must expect high return. Or if I'm expecting high return, then I must be ready to take high risk. Okay. Now, friends, these three kinds of decision, investment decisions are referred to as capital budgeting decision. Okay. And your financing decisions are referred to as capital structure decision. And third one is your dividend decision. For all these decisions, how decisions are taken, every decision we compute the return and we compute the risk, and we create a combination in such a way that the value of the farm is getting maximized. This is the basic concept of financial management. may have a look at this picture, you have understood. It will bring more clarity to you. Now, friends, now question comes. We can take this decision. When you're learning the topic, you'll be learning various topics, various techniques to take capital budgeting decisions, various uh, techniques to take capital structure decision. You'll be learning various theories about dividend decision. But to take all these decisions, first of all, we need what is the meaning of return and what is the meaning of risk. Then only we'll be able to assess return and we'll be able to assess risk. First, friends, coming to the concept of return, it may be easier for us to understand what is return. Return loosely may be referred to as profit. Profit means it will be a periodic profit or it might be capital appreciation. For example, let us say you are investing money in a house, you are getting rent, you are also, value of the house is also increasing, enhancing. So it gives you two kinds of return. One is periodic return. It also gives you capital appreciation. Similarly, if you are investing money in an equity, this says you are getting dividend and also the value of share is appreciating. Both taken together is your return. So computation of return is relatively easy. To know this concept, you can find out what is your periodic return, your capital appreciation, you'll be able to compute. But what is risk? Risk computation is little difficult in finance. We are not talking about this theoretical risk, okay, market risk, operational risk, etc. These are different economic risks. So many kinds of risks are there. But they only tries to explain what is risk, but how to quantify that risk. That we need to know. How to. In financial management, when we talk about risk, risk refers to uncertainty. If there is uncertainty, we call it as a risk. Now, if you're asking about, do you think there is a risk in company secretary's course? You may say yes, because there is some uncertainty. But the same question, if you ask, do you think there is a risk in BCom? You may say no, may not be, because you know relatively that all of you are capable of passing it. 100% sure. That means what you are expecting and what you will get, they may be same. Maybe marks may be different. You are expecting 60%, but you are getting 50%. If that is so, then there is a risk. So when there is a variation between your expectation and actual, you can say there is a risk. Or you feel there is a possibility that actual differ from your expectation, then that's a risk. Okay. For example, let us say you are keeping money in a fixed deposit bank. If you know that you will be getting 6%, you are getting 6%, then there is no risk. What you expected, you got that thing. From the very beginning, you are knowing that this one money you will be getting. But the same money you will keep it in a, let us say, equity market. Will you be able to give guarantee that you will be earning this much? Unlike fixed deposit, you may not be able to do that. You might be expecting 20%, you may get 20% negative. Okay, considering the dividend and capital appreciation, both the thing. Capital may be depreciated also. So profit can be lost. Now you can see the risk is there because your expectation and actual are different. So in the context of financial management, it is not only important for us to know what is risk, it is also important for us to assess the risk. Then only we will be able to do a trade-off. Now, how we will be able to assess the risk? Now let me show you this slide, this step. Let us say there are two projects like this. Our projects are valid for 5 years. Project A, as you can see, is giving me returns like this 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. For 5 years, it is giving me return 10 You can say 10%, or you can make 10,000 rupees or 10 rupees. So every year you can see it is giving a return of 10 each. Total return comes to 50. My average return is 10. Now let us see another project or company, another company B. B is giving me return like this. First year 12, second year 4, third year 18, fourth year 9, fifth year 7. You can see return is fluctuating. Total return comes to 50 and average comes to 10. If I'm interested in the return only, I can see in the both the projects, both of them are giving me same return. 50, total is 50. Average is also 10. So performance is more or less same. But if I'm asking you now, which project you feel more risky, return is same. Most of you will definitely say project B is more risky because I'm unable to expect that what I'm going to get in future. Whereas project A is giving me stable return. The return is same. One is giving me stable return, one is going unstable. But what I'm going to do with stability? Ultimately, my return is same. Whether it is a stable return or unstable. Now you have understood, even if return is same, by seeing the history, you can understand that project B is more risky. If I'll ask you, if I give an option where you would like to invest, then many of you may prefer project A because you know if return is same, why to take risks? Yeah, if A will giving me more, let's say B is giving me more return, then fine. We are ready to bear that risk. We are ready to accept an unstable return provided my return is more. If I'm taking a risk, then I should expect more return. That is the concept of high risk, more risk, and more. Okay. So in all these decisions, when you're making investment decision, I need this return. Financing decision, I need this return. But dividend decision, I need to know what is return. And in all these situations, also I need to know what is the risk associated. While doing this trade-off, the two principles you have to remember. That is, one, higher the return that one expects, higher the risk that he should be willing to take. And two, higher the risk that one takes, higher is the return or compensation that he should look for. Meaning, if you are expecting high return, you should be ready to take high risk. And if you are taking high risk, you should expect high return also. If I show you a project, this, let us do a small exercise in risk return trade-off. If this is a project or two projects are there, A, B, return is 10, 10 and risk is 15. If this is kind of situation, let us say you have already computed risk is 20, 15, return is 10, 10. In this kind of project, none of you will be making investment in project A because concept is very simple. When return is same, why should I take more risk? And in a different project, let us say project A and B gives return 12, 10 respectively, and risk is 15, 15 respectively. In this project, you will also agree that none of you will be making investment in project B. Because when risk is same, why to compromise with return? And again, if you see, let us say same project A and B, return is 12 and 10 respectively, and risk is 14 and 15. Here also you'll find that none of you will invest in project B. Meaning, when for less risk, more return is available, why should you take more risk with less return? But friends, situation is not so easy. In these three examples, this taking decision was very simple, so easy, so simple, so easy. But in real life, it is not like that. Real life situation is like this, where finance manager has to apply his mind. Here you see two projects. Return is 18. This is 12. Project A, B, respect. Okay. Here coming to risk, 15 and 12. Project A, B, respect. Now you have understood. Return is high. When return is high, risk is also high. When return is low, risk is also. Now, taking decision in this kind of situation is little complex. And that is why the financial management, that is why we are learning the subject financial management. How will we able to take decision in this kind of situation? Right. We cannot say for, let us say, increase of return for this many times. Let us say return has increased for 1.2 times, risk has increased for more than that. That comparison will not be helping us. Because the return means what? Return means, as you know, capital appreciation or periodic return. So return is expressed in absolute terms like money or as a percentage. And what is risk? Risk is the fluctuation. Risk is the variability of the return is called as risk. Risk is computed out of return. How it is computed? Mathematically, we compute it by using standard deviation concept. That means how much your expectation is deviating or how much actuals are deviating from your expectation. And you will be expecting something on the basis of your past data. Let us say past return is like this, you can average it out, you can find this is your expectation. Or you can say past return can be called as your standard return. So standard return of this industry is 10, but you are getting 8. That's a deviation. Deviation from standard, we call it as a standard deviation. So risk in financial management is computed by using the concept standard deviation. We will be learning that thing also. But this security analysis and portfolio management, at that time you will be understanding the concept of standard deviation. Why we calculate that? Calculate that to understand the risk. How much it is deviating from the standard. So risk is measured, in financial management, the risk measuring unit is standard deviation. A return may come in terms of percentage and absolute. The unit of measurement is different. So I cannot say for this much of risk increase 10%, return should also increase 10%. No, they are not comparable like this. That is why we have to apply your mind and take decisions. Okay. In this kind of situation, one can go for project A, one can go for project B. Nothing is wrong here. Only thing we can say, if the manager is aggressive, he can go for project B because he's taking more risk for return. If the manager is conservative, then go for project A because he's ready to take less risk for less return. It depends that how much of risk the entity can tolerate. If the entity can tolerate more risk, then he should go for more return. But as such, we cannot say it's A or B, which is wrong, which is right. We cannot say. It depends. So one finance manager may go A, another finance manager may project B. Both are right. Okay. But in this kind of situation, previously three situations I was explaining, if here some finance manager takes decision for project B, a situation, project, let us say some here in past situation, if somebody selects project A, then that is not an acceptable decision. Or here somebody accepts project B, that is also not acceptable. Here, let us say somebody accepts B, that is also not acceptable. But here is somebody accepting B, that is acceptable. That concept you understand. Okay. Yes, friends. So this is the basic concept. That means in financial management, we have to take this various kind of decision, keeping in mind this can be done. The concept of risk can be done. Okay. And with this, we'll be able to arrive at a decision, that which decision will be able to maximize the value. And one more concept, last concept will be closing, that is the concept of time value. what happens in finance? What happens in the businesses? You will be investing money right now, right now means today at time point zero, and returns will be expected in future. So money is invested today, returns will be coming in future. So money investment is more certain, but returns are more uncertain. So return carries risk. Okay, today you make investment, you join the course, but future returns will coming in due course. And the value of money in future is different. Okay, what is the worth of ₹100 today? After 1 year, it will not be same. Value of money will diminish. After 2 years, it will not be. It will be changed. After 10 years, it will be further reduced. So since returns are coming in future and investment are made right now, how can we compare? If you want to compare, then what we need to do? We need to arrive at what is the present value of all these future returns. So we need to discount those cash flows, discount those returns, and will arrive at what is the present value. Let us say after 5 years, after 5 years, I am going to receive 5 lakh. Its present value today might be 4 lakh. So I should compare this 4 lakh with my investment. That is the concept. That is why we learn the concept of time value. In that concept, what we do, need to know what is the risk involved in this project and what is the rate at which I should discount my cash flows so that I can compare it with my outflow. So inflow outflows are compared, financial decisions are taken. Okay, so that is the concept. Friends, today we discussed these basic concepts about financial management, and the regular classes we discuss all these topics in detail. Hope there is definitely some value addition in you. In case you have some specific query, you may raise that query. Now, raise over to organizers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent.
Thank you so much, sir, for a nice deliveration. And I request Chairman, sir. Are you there, sir?
Okay, no issue.
Request.
Can close the session.
Request Subhasri Mahapatra. Subhasri.
Yes, sir.
Please